Remember the 70s? A decade when fish fingers glowed in the dark and a pint of orange squash would keep you up for 2 days.
A time when we were obsessed with being modern and sophisticated. Bugs, stylophones and rally choppers made it an exciting time to be around.
Our cars, however, were still in the dark ages. We were very good at building ropey motors with shocking reliability and hideous build quality. But for some reason, that didn't matter. It was only when British Leyland, the chief executioners of our car industry, decided to get all cutting edge that things took a turn for the worse. Enter the TR7.
Leyland had wanted a mid-engine car, but research from the US said that something simple, comfortable and cheap would be a winner. So BL engineered a straightforward mechanical package and came up with several design concepts, including the Lynx.
The Lynx was a 2+2 concept with a V8 engine, which was supposed to be a replacement for the Stag. But it wasn't until a senior manager stumbled across plans by a young designer called Harris Mann that Project Bullet was given the nod and the TR7 ball started to roll.
But this car was designed with only one thing in mind: America.
America is coming home. Triumph's bold, slashing wedge. TR7, the shape of things to come.
BL was blown away with what it thought was a revolutionary design, the wedge. Even though it looked like a cheese triangle with pop-up headlights, the company thought that it got its own mini Ferrari. Designed to look like a fashionable mid-engine sports car, even though it wasn't, they felt sure the Yanks would love it. So they launched the car there first in 1975.
The US government looked certain to ban convertibles, so the first cars to find their way across the pond were a gaggle of especially ugly ducklings, these fixed heads. They wanted you to think that this was the shape of things to come, but underneath it was a good old Triumph Dolomite. From the very start, the pressure was on.
BL, never ones to make things easy for themselves, decided to bend the old 6-cylinder engine and go for a 2-litre 4-cylinder effort worth 105 brake horsepower. This car may have pop-up headlights, but use them in a stiff wind and you'd almost be going backwards.
This 2-litre engine can manage a top speed of 112 miles an hour and get from 0 to 60 in 9.6 seconds. Now that's slower than the TR6, but a whole lot quicker than the MGB. When it came out, it was praised for its handling, especially its steering. But I wouldn't get too carried away. It's getting on a bit now and, well, they're responsible for the Maxi as well, aren't they?
Initial demand was strong, but things were never easy for the 7. Shortly after its UK launch in 1976, the Liverpool factory was crippled by industrial action. Spluttering productivity and badly built cars eventually gave way to complete shutdown for nearly a year.
In 1978, BL moved the whole operation to Coventry. A year later, the car was relaunched and the quality had improved. But by then, the damage had been done. All other plans for Project Bullet were shelved, and thanks to its early reliability problems, the TR7's image was tarnished throughout the world.
Even the new Avengers had cause to regret the day British Leyland donated a 7. Filming was constantly interrupted by breakdowns, leaving martial arts expert Purdy stranded. After just 3 episodes, the car was dropped.
In 1979, Triumph got rid of the roof and the dodgy-looking coupe was transformed into the lower, sleeker convertible. Now the 7 was a proper roadster and it looked a bit better. Buyers agreed because the drop top outsold the fixed head by 9-1.
But a year later, the 7 got the Rover V8 engine and the TR8 was born. UK spec gave 155 brake horsepower, delivering the kind of grunty performance the 7 lacked. It was almost a real muscle car and could have been a winner.
Road and Track magazine in America called the TR8 the best new sports car of 1980. Unfortunately, very few of them made it back to this country. And in 1981, the strength of the pound against the dollar meant that Triumph were losing money on every single car sold in the US. The end result? The TR7 and 8 were cancelled.
TR8 never did go on sale in the UK, but we did get to see the mighty V8-powered TR7s in rallying. By 1980, in the hands of Tony Pond, this 300 brake horsepower monster was pretty much invincible in competition.
If you pine for the decade of long summers and fluorescent orange food, then maybe the cheese chunk TR could be the ultimate addition to your old school tracksuit. They finally stopped production in 1981, just as it was getting its game together. So these are the ones to go for.
If the oddball looks excite you, then this is a two-seater sports car for peanuts. And there are plenty around. The 7s and 8s, the last of the TRs, were also the best selling, which means that later, Solihull built drop tops in mint condition are yours for 4,000 quid.
Somebody at British Leyland did have the last laugh though, because the early TR7s were exactly the shape of things to come for Britain's car industry. But the later models, as a retro rarity for pocket change, could well be worth a second look.